Hey everybody, Pickio Gamer here, and I want to talk a little bit more about the Switch Pro because there's another bit of information that came out, rumored from a person. I can't remember the person's name now. It's on the Spawncast. Can't remember his name. Yeah, I watched the RGT85's video. Just my brain's fried. Very busy Monday, but he's had a lot of interesting tips and things that have come true. And one of the things he was saying is he's heard there's going to be some exclusives to the Switch Pro. He knows of one. And I said I've watched Dreamcast guys and RGT85's videos and other people's. And I get some people have some reservations about it. And here's the information. Here's the deal. I saw this coming, and pretty much from what the information says is mostly it's going to be third party, which that makes sense. And there may be some Nintendo stuff, but there are two ways this can happen. And the first way is Nintendo will put out a game, say Breath of the Wild 2. On that game card, or download if you got it, I like physical, is a very big game. It has all the stuff to run it either on a Switch or on a Switch Pro. Nobody on the Switch gets left behind. Okay? Then you turn around and to play the game normally, the Switch Lite, everybody plays it. Everybody has the base game. It's all good, right? You put it into the Switch Pro, there's some extra stuff. Better graphics, higher frame rate, better draw distance, possibly more stuff that you could do, more on-screen enemies. Who knows what they want to do? It's nothing wrong. It's not leaving people behind, and it's not throwing people under the bus that don't get the Switch Pro. But maybe, just maybe, Nintendo might turn around and put out some DLC for Breath of the Wild 2 or some of these, and it does take a Switch Pro. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't make like Mario Kart 9, Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4 be Switch Pro only, you should be okay. And Nintendo doesn't need a big, super powerful system to make their games. They just don't. So, I don't think they'll do that. But the other side part of this is I think third-party developers, like, well, I used to say CD Projekt Red before the Cyberpunk debacle, but big developers like that, or Rockstar, maybe say, there's Control that came onto the game, but onto the Switch, but it's a streaming version. I have the PS4 version as I got it in the PlayStation Plus stuff, and it runs great. I mean, it stutters in the PS4, but what if they had more power and they could put that out there? And I know RGT85 said that, so it kind of sound like I'm copying, but that's a big game. What about Red Dead Redemption 2? What about that coming out? What about Call of Duty coming out on it? What about something like that? Would that be, a killer to make everybody, I got a Switch and I can't play those? No. If you want a Switch and to have the indie games, the online stuff, the Super Nintendo, possibly all these other things coming out that may be able to put Nintendo 64, we don't know. I'm guaranteeing you the big part of stuff that's coming out on the Switch will run on the normal Switch and the Switch Lite. Nintendo's not going to screw that up. They're going to make the Switch Pro stuff better, and it's okay if third-party people or developers say, you know what, the Switch Pro's got a lot of horsepower. Guess what? We're going to make this game, and it's a Switch Pro game. Well, I don't like that. Well, then buy you a Switch Pro. It's the one thing about the PS4 Pro and the the One X. Many, many moons ago, a long time when Cyrus Martin and I first looked at this stuff, the Neo, the PlayStation Neo, all the documents came out, they were going to make the games run pretty much the same. Like if an online game was on the PS4, the PS4 Pro, they had to have the same frame rate, frame per second, the draw distance. They can't be too different other than resolution. Single player is different. They can run different stuff. That's why I always said the One X and the PS4 Pro were stupid. Both companies. They didn't really benefit anything. Well, Nintendo is behind. Kind of. They don't compete with Sony or Microsoft, but then they kind of do, and they're on this separate little. They're not up there with the PS5 Series X, but they're way down here, and they come out with a Pro. They could kind of come down here a little bit lower, decently though. It's not going to be that powerful, and get some ports and keep relevant for a few more years to where Nintendo goes, okay, it's time to put the new thing out. And that's where the PS4 Pro, the Switch Pro is going to come in. So it's going to have exclusive games. That's fine, folks. Calm down. It's not going to kill everything. I don't see Nintendo screwing this up. I see third-party developers putting stuff out. And if you're going to sit there with a Switch or a Switch Lite and go, oh, I want that third-party game, then go buy you a new Switch. I don't see Nintendo doing anything like that unless, say, this thing gives another 4 or 5 years to the Switch. And after 2 so years, they get another 40 or 50 or 60 million, and it seems like it's gaining speed and the old ones are not being bought. Then you'll see one that uses Switch Pro, because they won't be leaving that many people behind, and be like, okay, come on. There's used Switch Pros. Come on, folks, trade them in. But this is giving Nintendo more life to stand up with Sony and Microsoft, and it gives third-party developers more power. Nintendo is not going to leave people behind. If they do, they'd be stupid. They're not going to. So I think people don't need to be too afraid about this. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I do appreciate everybody watching. And let me know what you think about this. Switch Pro exclusives, good, bad? I don't know. All right, everybody. PKO Gamer, out.